Hi everyone, it's Emily from UTT and welcome to this week's edition of Life in the UK. For this week's video, we're going to get started on one of the most interesting and lengthiest periods in British history, the Middle Ages. So perhaps the most notable thing about this period in British history was that throughout these 500 years or so, Britain was constantly in a state of war. We were at war not only with the countries around us, England was at war with Scotland, Wales, Ireland, but England was also at war with lots of countries overseas. So throughout this video, we're just going to have a little look at some of the wars that were waged and the consequences of those battles. So first up, we're going to start off with Wales. Now, in the year 1284, King Edward I of England introduced something called the Statute of Riddlin. What this meant essentially was that England had taken power over the country, the lands, the people of Wales. Now, there were some rebellions against this rule. Some of the Welsh people did try and rise up and fight back against the English, but by the 15th century, all of these rebellions had been quashed. And this is mainly because the statute was enforced by a number of very large and powerful castles operated by the English army. A couple of these castles, such as Carmarthen and Conwy, can still be seen today. What were the ultimate consequences of this conflict? Well, the main thing was that the Welsh people, that is, began to assimilate and take on board English laws and customs. They also began to speak the English language above their native Welsh. Although some people in Wales still speak Welsh today, and there's plenty of Welsh literature, Welsh place names, Welsh signposts, all that sort of stuff, the main language in Wales is now English. So whilst the kings of England had been relatively successful in Wales, elsewhere was an altogether different story. So when the English attempted to invade Scotland, they were met with a much more organised retaliation. In the year 1314, England attempted to invade and were ultimately defeated at the Battle of Bannockburn, and Scotland remained essentially unconquered by the English. While all this is going on, it's also during this time that England's rather complicated relationship with Ireland actually begins. So at the start of the medieval period, Ireland was actually its own independent country ruled by the Irish king. Slowly, as the period progressed, English troops went over to Ireland in order to assist the Irish king in sort of national matters. Now, as a result of this, some areas of Ireland began slowly to be ruled by the English kings, ruled by English people. Most notably, a very small area around Dublin known as the Pale is taken over by the English. At this point, the Irish are happy for this to happen, and this is a rather amicable arrangement. But we will discuss more of this relationship in later videos. Now, the more observant or the more astute of you may have noticed that we have actually missed out one of the most significant wars during this period, the Wars of the Roses. Now, as that is a very big and very significant war, we're going to have a little look at it in next week's video. So join us next week where we'll be looking in detail at the Wars of the Roses and what that meant for the future of Britain. See you then.